Hello, and welcome to Monstober with Amberstone Draws. Today I'm looking at the werewolves from the Company of Wolves. Now, it's probably been about 10 years since I've seen this, and last time I watched it, I'd forgotten it was an anthology sort of movie. It really doesn't matter, it still reads like a fever dream. I think I must have mixed it together with Labyrinth as a kid. Why I watched this as a kid is a different story. It's not really a kid's movie. Connected tangentially to Red Riding Hood, I guess people thought it was a fairy tale story, which it is, but the weird metaphors and sexual undertones are lost on a kid, so you just get this vague memory of something that didn't make a ton of sense, had a bunch of weird imagery and some really scary imagery, none of which felt like it went together, because it didn't go together, since it was an anthology, and was confusedly somewhat sexual, and probably started a couple of furry fetishes, because even if you don't understand sex as a kid, you understand that this girl liked a guy who turned into a horrible beast and then still chose him, even though he ate her grandma. What? But even as an adult, this movie is a bit out there. A young girl falls asleep reading a magazine, and this movie is the result. The stories it's based on are all from a collection called The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. To string them together in the movie, they added a dream element. But it might have been better served as just a normal anthology without a through line like that to tie it together. Having things be a dream always annoys me, and this one in particular was annoying since they have the grandmother in the actual dream tell stories to the girl within the dream. So we have double story inception here. You don't need 2 layers of weaving the story together. And if the whole thing's a dream, what does it matter if we even watch it? It didn't even happen in the world of the movie. If nothing else, you should be real in your own universe. Otherwise, what's the point? All of that aside, the iconic werewolf transformations in this one are literally the stuff of nightmares. The transformation in Hemlock Grove takes the cake for most disturbing, but these were undoubtedly part of its inspiration. It's almost like people who make werewolf movies watch other werewolf movies. What? There are multiple transformations in this one, and the most iconic one is the one on the poster. It's the one you see most often with the wolf muzzle forcing its way out of the man's mouth. I went with the weird skinless wolf transformation because it's the one I remember the most. This one is from the story of the new bride whose husband goes out to go to the bathroom and never comes back. It's years later when he finally shows back up. She's already remarried and has 2 kids. And he's pretty quickly dispatched when he comes back after he starts attacking her and the kids. But when the woman shows the slightest bit of sadness that he's dead, this is my ex-husband, dead on the floor, her current husband gives her a pretty hard smack across the face. And in the book, she's just straight up beaten. It's just mentioned as an aside, which is really weird and dismissive. The book stories are strange. They're all short, and they don't really use quotation marks to denote speaking. They change tenses often, and the author really liked to describe lice moving around in hair on the werewolves in their human forms, which is just a weird, I have a parasite phobia, and lice make me weird. So that's ultra creepy to me. But anyway, the stories are all overtly sexual. I mean, in the words of Gene Belcher, it's not subtle. It's really not. And that's intentional. The parallels between Red Riding Hood and coming of age are meant to be very obvious here. Red knows no shame and embraces it, just as she embraces the murderous wolf. It's an odd courtship of a sort. The woman marrying into a family and becoming part of that family. Her own family is often dead to her as she starts her own family and has to move very far away, especially years ago when these stories are set. Here it's just taken to a literal extreme. There are several werewolf stories in The Bloody Chamber, and they're all very short, and the entire book is comprised of about 86 PDF pages, so if you want to read them, it only takes a few minutes to see all the stories that went into this movie. And if you get a chance, they're worth the time to read. They're really interesting. This movie is interesting in and of itself too, but like I said, it definitely feels sort of like a fever dream, and that's not really something to recommend a story to you. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at the Company of Wolves, and I'm really happy that I didn't screw up and call it In the Company of Wolves like I've been doing for the past 4 weeks or so in my head. But if you guys want to see some more of the werewolf transformations from the Company of Wolves, drop a line down in the comments and let me know what you want to see next. What do you think of this movie? But have a great day, guys. Thanks. Bye.